What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be discussing Uzi's Eternal Atake and just kind of bringing up the question and theorizing, was it worth the wait? But before we do start, I want to shout out to the second channel, Complex 2. A link to that will be in the description down below. I also want to give a big shout out to all of my channel members. Thank you guys for supporting me. And lastly, I want to shout out to my Instagram, Complex Productions 999, and my Twitter, Complex Discuss. Make sure to check all that stuff out. Links to everything's in the description down below. And with all this being said, let's dive on into the video. Now, before we start, I do want to give a shout out to Bob Lamb, not because obviously I'm sure if you guys are watching this video, you obviously know who Bob Lamb is, but I've been seeing him do a lot of discussion videos kind of focusing on this aspect. And if you guys haven't been able to tell by now, I've kind of been doing some more broad topics where we kind of just bring up the question and discuss stuff like, did Trip at Night age well, stuff like that. And I think that looking at Eternal Atake is a perfect kind of topic to look at for this kind of discussion and really just discuss, was it worth the wait? So to get into the question, was Eternal Atake worth the wait, I want to mention how I've seen that Uzi's community has not exactly been fully accepting of what Uzi's kind of been doing, or they haven't been the biggest fans of it. One example of this is Demon High. I'm pretty sure that Demon High was supposedly supposed to be for the Pink Tape, if I'm not mistaken, and I've seen a lot of people kind of in the Uzi community not really be a huge fan of that song, which is a little bit surprising to me, just for the fact that I know a lot of people in real life that do like that song, and personally I've said before that I do like Demon High, and I'm not saying that the Uzi community doesn't like that song, but I think what I've seen and what I've been able to gather is the fact that they're just not a fan of the direction and like kind of that style of Uzi, where it's just like a more pop or just that route that Uzi was trying to go down with Demon High. I was able to see that not a lot of the Uzi's community, at least not his direct community, did like that song. Keep in mind that I did like it though. I'm a fan of it and I still listen to it, but then last week on stream I ended up reacting to one of Uzi's newer releases, which was Heavy, and that was definitely a big change of pace for what I was expecting to hear from Uzi, especially released now. And I haven't really seen a lot of communication or discussion about this song in Uzi's community lately. I don't really know how the fans are feeling about the song, and I kind of am just a little bit curious because it seems like everybody was super hyped for Eternal Atake, which obviously, why would they not be? There was a huge gap in between us getting that album and Uzi's previous release, and on top of that, the hype was just unreal based off all the snippets we had and all the label issues Uzi was getting into and claiming that he was going to retire. There was just so much going and looking forward to that album that obviously there was just so much anticipation going into that project, and that's why I think bringing up the topic, was Eternal Atake really worth that wait, worth it? And I do know that there was different versions of this album, kind of like Whole Lotta Red and even kind of like Juice, where songs would get leaked or just different versions of the album would leak. Obviously we ended up getting like the original version of Legends Never Die. Obviously that's a posthumous release, but I know specifically for Uzi and Cardi that there was different versions of Whole Lotta Red and Eternal Atake, and I know that Eternal Atake ended up leaking, or at least a few of the tracks on some of the original versions did. So obviously Uzi kind of went out and made a different version of it, and then he ended up releasing the deluxe a week later, or not even a week later, with all the fan wanted snippets and just some more of what the fans were probably expecting to be on Eternal Atake. I know that Uzi went out and released that, and obviously this worked very well. The album sold like almost 300,000 units in its first week, which is just crazy, and I just remember literally being able to see the hype for this album. But now that we're kind of sitting at literally more than 2 years since the project's released, I haven't really seen a lot of discussion around the album and the music being good. I've honestly seen people like Bob Lamb, and even the point of this video, kind of just bring up the discussion, was the album worth the wait? And I did take some time to re-listen to a few of the highlights on both the deluxe and the original Eternal Atake to prepare for this video, just because I wanted to be able to have a fresh listen of the album, to have my thoughts right for what I was going to say about it. And I kind of just think that this album was definitely not a bad project whatsoever. There's so many songs on the original and on the deluxe that I personally like, and I know that everybody really, for the most part, liked the album when it originally released, including the Uzi community. And I've just kind of seen a switch or a shift to where the album may not have had a lot of longevity to it. And I think Uzi's even kind of spoke on this, how he wants this next release, the Pink Tape or whatever it ends up being, to be something that his fans will not only like, but will kind of last longer, which is what I think Uzi should kind of keep in mind for the Pink Tape, just because I know that a lot of people don't necessarily go back to Eternal Atake, at least not personally. I do know that there's people that do, but for the most part, I wouldn't say it's a general theme where people go back and listen to stuff like Futsal Shuffle unless you really enjoyed that song when it released or you're just finding this project now. I don't really think there's a lot of people that go out of their way to go back and listen to Eternal Atake, or maybe just the grails that released on the deluxe or the snippets that fans really wanted to hear. But I don't think that Eternal Atake was a bad project whatsoever. I don't think that the deluxe was either. I just don't think that it had the longevity in it that it kind of should have had, especially for the anticipation with it. I don't really see the whole lot of red effect with Eternal Atake, where that album is still getting really well streams and people are still, and Cardi's fan base still likes that album, and it's literally holding them over for almost another 2 years at the end of this year without any new Cardi music. Since that, really, it doesn't really seem like Eternal Atake was able to do this for Uzi or his fan base. So if you're looking at it with that aspect, with the longevity of the project, it wasn't really worth the wait. But for what we got during the time and for how many people enjoyed this album and what it sold, if you're looking at it in that sense, I do think it was worth the wait. But I want to know what you guys think. This is obviously another open-ended question, so at the end of the day, it comes down to your guys' thoughts. Did you enjoy Eternal Atake when it released, and do you still listen to it? Do you think it was worth the really long few years wait? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.